So nearly 20 years ago, when Mark Zuckerberg was a mere 10 years old, I bought my first mobile phone, a Nokia brick. You probably know all the specifications for this, right? There's a few pain points in that statement. Back then, all I could really do on this phone was text and call people. And make ringtones? Are there ringtones in this one?
No.
No, okay. All I could do was text and call people. So on average, well, firstly, I didn't that often because A, there was no one to text and call because not many people I knew had mobile phones, and B, I couldn't afford to pay a mobile phone bill at that time, so I just looked good carrying around my mobile phone. Well, I thought I did. On average, I probably looked at that phone around 1 to 2 times a day. Today, we're looking at our phones around 150 times per day. I think I'd probably smash that. If that was a target, I would totally smash it. I'm about 300, I reckon. I haven't tested it, but I reckon I'm around about 300 times a day. We communicate with our friends, we engage with brands, we process content, we develop content, we upload content. So couple that with very low attention span and constant interruptions and interactions and a small screen, and it's imperative that your mobile destination really creates engagement and captures attention very, very quickly. So I'm going to kind of flip the way I normally present a little bit on its head, and I'm going to take you on a journey, hopefully, of a mobile campaign that was not optimised for mobile, and hopefully show you what happens, and through that you'll get some insights and learnings. So, I'm running for a bus. I've dropped my child at daycare, check. I've got my handbag, check. I've got my mobile phone, check. I jump on the bus, I look up, there's about 60-70% of people with their heads down in their mobile phones. I find my seat, first thing I do is I grab my mobile phone out and I put my head down into my mobile phone. I look at my email, I check my email. I respond to a few work queries, I check my Facebook, I realise it's my best friend's birthday, I send her a Facebook message and put a note to myself to call her later. I look at Twitter, I retweet a couple of things to make me look important and popular. I then go on to Pinterest and I pin something somewhere. And then I jump onto my news. I go to news.com and I have a look at what's going on today in the news world. And at the top of the news site is this. And I want to start off by saying that this brand, in particular that we're discussing, has come through and now has a great mobile destination, and that's why I can talk about it. But I think it's a really good example of not a bad mobile experience and a campaign that doesn't have an optimised mobile destination. So I jump onto news, and at the top of it, I go, damn, it's Father's Day on Sunday. Damn, I totally forgot it's Father's Day on Sunday. It's Friday, I haven't got time, what am I going to do? Brilliant. Bunnings has alerted me to the fact that it's Father's Day on Friday. Fantastic. So I click through. Could I potentially sort Father's Day out, solve my issue on the bus on the way to work? That's what I'm presented with, a scanned-in catalogue to mobile. So, I sit there and I look at that puzzled and I'm clicking around and I can see things that I could potentially buy for my husband. And there's lawnmowers and things like that, and I click and it doesn't click. It's just a scanned in catalogue to mobile. Did I mention that? It's a scanned in catalogue to mobile. So I can't get anywhere. So I click next and it's another scanned in catalogue. So I go back to my store locator. And click on store locator. I know where my local Bunnings is, but I'll have a look anyway. Maybe it will give me some information that I don't know. So I type in my postcode, and I'm presented with that. All of the catalogues in my area on mobile. At this point, I'm really frustrated. You have just wasted 2 minutes of my life that I don't have at the moment. I'm running, I'm busy. So, how many people do you think will never return to that Bunnings mobile site again without strong call to action? Rough percentage. 98. Sorry? 98. 98. It's actually 68. How many people do you think will head to a competitor's site? Estimate? Yeah. It's actually 30 to 40% according to Google. I think that's higher. I mean, I know I definitely go to it. I'm looking for something, I've got a specific amount of time, but I think that would be a lot higher. So, clear here. I need to find something and I've got a short amount of time. So I remember my husband saying the other day that he couldn't find his screwdriver. So I'm thinking I'll buy him a nice set of screwdrivers. Bunnings has just alerted me to the fact that they're screwdrivers, and that's a good idea. They'll probably sit in the shed, go dust and rust like everything else and never be used. But anyway, it solves my immediate issue. So I jump onto Google search and I search for screwdrivers. Top one is the screwdriver shop. Brilliant. It's an ad. That's okay. It's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for screwdrivers. I don't mind being presented with an ad that's going to help me get to my destination quickly. By the way, I've got 2 minutes left on my bus. I get this. Sydney tools. It's drills. It's got nothing to do with what I'm looking for, and it's not optimised for mobile. So even if I want drills, I'm not interested. I'm moving on. So then I get back to that search, because for those who know me, know I'm very determined and I'll keep going and keep going. Unlike some of your consumers, then I'll go back to that search. I go back to that search and I scroll down a few searches and I find a picture of screwdrivers. It's a nice screwdriver, it's at a reasonable cost. It's got a link to a mobile optimised site and it's got a price. And my final mobile destination is Officeworks. Who would have thought that an ad for Bunnings would drive me, or a consumer, to Officeworks? Now, I'm not going to go and buy screwdrivers from Officeworks, but what I might do now is start thinking about things that I can buy from Officeworks for my husband for Father's Day. So, the next day, I go into Officeworks. I'm not going to buy things online, I'm not going to buy that online from Officeworks, but it has actually created an action which will now drive me in-store to Officeworks. So hopefully you get some of the key points there. I mean, it's not just about not scanning printed ads into mobile, it's actually about thinking about your consumer journey. How does your consumer want to interact with you as a brand, and what journey do you need to take them on to get them to where they need to be as quickly as possible? So a few key points.
I can break it.
There you go. There you go. You're listening to a mobile. Is it frozen? Okay, don't worry, I can update everything. Okay, a few key points, timely. So, going back to the bus situation, your consumers have a very, very small amount of time on mobile. A very, very small amount of time for you to engage them. In fact, you have around about 5 seconds when they hit that mobile site. The highest optimised mobile sites in the world that provide the highest engagement load within less than 5 seconds. And for every additional second that it takes for your page to load, you have 11% less page views. So that initial destination when they hit your site has got to happen in 5 seconds. Simple navigation. It goes without saying, make navigation very simple. Make it thumb friendly. It's amazing how many applications and mobile sites that I go into that I'm testing for clients or even just because I find that fun. And you click on something, and I don't think I have overly fat thumbs. But you click on something and you end up somewhere totally different, and that's just because they haven't thought about how people are going to click on things. They haven't thought about the user experience inside the application or mobile site. Make it visible, don't get people pinch and pull. Make it accessible. I'm sure you're all looking at your web stats, or hopefully looking at your web stats and seeing how much traffic is coming from mobile. We're seeing around about 15% at the moment. Again, I think I had a stat yesterday that was about 30%. I think on average in Australia, 15% of your traffic is probably coming from mobile. Obviously, depending on what brand you are. The parent mother, one of the big mother and baby brands, is seeing 25% traffic. So it really does depend on your consumer. When you look at that traffic, you will see that a lot of it's iPhone, and that's because people are generally used to searching on the iPhone. It doesn't necessarily mean that your users don't have other phones. So one thing that I truly advocate is do some customer research. Find out what phones your customers are using. Before you go off and develop apps or mobile sites, find out what phones they're using. The Android has just overtaken recently Apple OS in the UK, and we're not far behind here. So, when you're thinking iPhone or Android, have a look at what your customers are using. Conversions, you know, click to call, make it easy for them to contact you. Even if you're not ready to go down the full-blown commerce site, for instance, just make it easy for customers to interact with you. You know, we know everyone is going through a process of learning and developing, and we're not expecting, I don't think anyone's expecting everyone to have a full-blown mobile optimised experience. Is better than nothing. Make it local. 90% of searches locally invoke a reaction, or an action I should say. So whether that be jumping onto a site, whether that be going in store, or whether that be clicking to call, 90% of local searches. So ensure that you're making you're optimising it locally. If you were to Google Bunnings Sydney now, you would be taking the top thing that you would see is Bunnings. You would go into their mobile optimised site, you could look at their locations, you could look at their products. You would also see in Google Bunnings within the local area as well. So make sure you're looking at your SEO on mobile. Make it seamless. You know, allow people, especially with mobile sites, allow people to go from the mobile site to the full site and back again. You know, allow them to have that seamless experience, and with the applications as well. And the last thing I'll kind of leave you with is something Sustainable Path will do workshops with clients. And we put it at the beginning and we put it at the end. And hopefully it's supplementary for the stuff that I've just told you, or the presentation I've just given you. And it is, you spent so much time telling me what you wanted me to hear, and not enough time telling me what I wanted to hear, that we ran out of time. And that is mobile to me. You really have to make it quick, you have to make it snappy, and you have to make it easy for the user to engage. By 2014, and I think probably sooner, mobile internet usage will overtake desktop. So companies really have about a year to listen and learn and refine their mobile strategy. And Andrew's now going to talk about some of the really good mobile campaigns that have worked.